Gamers, Omega Warlord here. So I'm bringing to you the next in our How to Play series, and I'm going to go ahead and say this is our penultimate How to Play video. It's coming to an end. It's okay. No, so what we're going to do is I'm going to do this one. I got one more for you after this. After these videos, again, you're going to need to have the rulebook and all that kind of stuff with you, but you should have a general idea on how to play a nice, friendly game of 40K. So today we're going to do walkers. I've been over vehicles in the last video. I'm going to do some walkers. I got two here, right? And then we're going to do a super heavy. No, it's not that heavy, but it's a super heavy. So go over those today, and then I've got one more after that, and I hope to see you here in just a moment. Candy. Mister, you're kind of weird. No, seriously. Okay, so guys, here I've got some walkers. Okay, we're going to talk about how they function a little bit different than tanks and kind of how they move on the board. So first off, we'll go through each phase. Movement-wise, they're going to move like infantry, which means that there's definitely some dangerous terrain rolls you'll have to take, that kind of thing. Moving through terrain, though, by itself only dictates that you roll 2 dice and pick the highest. Or in their case, 3, because I have moved through cover. But they move like infantry. Okay, so that's important to know. They're not tracked vehicles. They do, in fact, move like infantry. The other thing that you're going to want to know about movement is, like vehicles, okay, they need to have a facing, all right, when you're done moving, okay? Shooting with walkers. Walkers get to fire as if they're standing still. So they can always fire all of their weapons at ballistic skill, unless some weapon, like this one, says otherwise. It's an ordnance weapon, so you fire snapshots otherwise. So, pretty basic there, okay? Shooting at walkers, much like a vehicle, you're going to use them and draw your lines for front, side, and armor facings, because they have an armor value like a vehicle, very similar. And then that's really the easy stuff. Now let's talk about the slightly more difficult stuff, and that's the assault, okay? Unlike a vehicle, okay? In a vehicle, when you assault the back armor. Unlike the vehicle, a walker is always assaulted on its front armor because it is actively hitting you back, which can hurt, but it's hitting you back. So it's going to be on the front armor, which can make it much, much tougher to take down an assault. All right, sometimes even impossible for units that can normally hit a tank. Can't kill some walkers. They can't do it. So it's fairly nice that way. That is, unless it's immobilized. So if you've rolled the damage table on the walker, just like the vehicle, and you get an immobilized result, you can then assault it on its back armor. Okay? If a walker is in fact rammed, then it cannot death or glory. But if it survives, it can assault in the ensuing assault phase. Alright? And that's really it on walkers. They're just like vehicles and infantry combined. Some rules for some of them, other rules from other ones. But they're pretty nifty. I like them. I use them every once in a while. Okay? They are normally very powerful in assault, so be careful of that. Alright? I know some walkers like Orc Death Dread, stuff like that, are very, very strong in assault. Hard to kill and can kill back fairly well. So be careful of walkers. Alright? So there's my walkers. Now let's talk super heavies. I've got 2 examples of super heavies here. First off, although he is gray, he is amazing, and we have a Lord of Skulls. Okay? He's quite large. Alright? And then his little counterpart from the Imperial side, I've got a Bane Blade here on loan to me from my buddy Colin. So, what we've got is the super heavies now do a couple of things. First off, substantially larger. Okay? Walker. Super heavy. So, they are substantially larger. That means they're going to be a little easier to hit. When they move, they always count as standing still, similar to a walker or a heavy vehicle. And they can fire their weapons, which is important to know, all right, at different targets. Every weapon can fire at a different target. They're one of the very few units that can do so. So, for example, in this Bane Blade, if I want to fire the bolters at one infantry, and I want to fire the Demolisher Cannon at some like Terminators, and then the big Bane Blade Cannon, whatever it's called, can't remember right now, at something else, and it's a big shot. So I can do all that. Okay, I can fire at all different targets, which is really nice. The biggest thing about super heavies is they are much harder to kill than a normal tank. Let me explain why. First off, they're going to have a lot of hull points. Okay, they're going to have 9 hull points or 12 hull points, and some super heavies, when you get really, really, really big ones, have like 12, 24, 16,000, not really, hull points. Okay, but so they got a lot of hull points. Well, that's okay, Omega Warlord. I'll just shoot them and you know, take them right out. Oops, y'all didn't see that. Don't tell Davian. So, all right, I'll just shoot them and take them out. You can't one-shot them. Well, you can, but it's really hard, okay? First off, the Super Heavy normally has good armor, all right? So this one's got 14, 13, 12, pretty good, okay? But they've got good armor, and then unless it is an explode result on the damage table, all it does is take 1 hull point. They are not immobilized. They are not shaken. They are not weapon destroyed. None of those things, all right? Unless it's an explode result, they only do is take a hull point. On an explode result, they take D3 instead of 1, which a third of the time is still just 1. So they're kind of hard to kill. You've really got to focus them down and fire them down. Now, the exception is if they're hit by a strength D weapon, you roll a 6 on that thing, you roll another 6, and that thing's gone. All right, so you can kill them in 1 shot with those, or really, really, really lucky couple of melted shots. But they're going to be pretty hard to take down. That's really the big thing about Super Heavies, okay? They are, most of the time, there are a few notable exceptions, but they are Lords of War, so you're going to get a +1 your siege initiative roll if you're going against it, and you don't have one. And there's a whole other Warlord trait table you can roll on in the Escalation book, if you have that book. But that's really only if you're using the Escalation rules. So there are a couple of Super Heavies in some codexes that are allowed, like the Stampa or the Tesseract Vault for the Necrons. Other than that, they're going to be in supplements and other locations. So that's it about the Super Heavies. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. If I didn't cover something or if I said something wrong, go ahead and call me an idiot, and I'll see if you're right, because that's very possible. But so check it out. Like, share, subscribe. By the way, I've yet to mention right yet. Check us out on Facebook. We've got a Facebook, and if you're interested, we have had a couple of people do this, but you can pop us a list and we'll take a look at it for you. That's something we've started doing, so that's pretty cool. But like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. All right, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you on the next video.